are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, it's like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 487, part of the Lineups podcast network at lineups.com and the Big Heads Media Network at bigheadsmedia.com. We're also part of Dash Radio, and our sponsor is Ticket Club. Check out the New York Knicks podcast.com/Ticket Club. NYKP is the code you can use.
Is it going to take a half hour for you to do all this stuff?
Yeah, this is the whole show now. I don't want to talk about the Knicks, so I'm just joining networks and getting sponsors, and then we'll just play the outro, and that'll be the end of the episode.
Okay.
So anyway,
it'll be the most positive episode we do.
Exactly. NYKP gets you $20 off an annual membership, and they have the lowest ticket prices out there. So check that out. And now for the show.
Yes.
4 games since last episode.
4 games. It seems like I guess we skipped last night because we figured they were playing last night, so we let them play, and we're recording tonight. This is Monday night, and all I want to talk about is how we can turn our show into a Brooklyn Nets podcast. Is it okay if, I was thinking that at some point right now it's the New York Knicks podcast. Eventually we can just drop the word Knicks and make it the New York podcast. Then slowly but surely we'll switch over to the Nets because they're a functioning good team. They are 14-12. They just came off of beating Philly, and they have no one on the roster. Imagine if they added Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, how good they'd be.
I'll just change one letter each episode. Next week it'll be the Knicks.
Next. Well, and Kyrie Irving would actually might I don't know. Do you think the Brooklyn Nets will be better or worse when Kyrie's healthy? And will he ever be healthy again?
He'll be in and out of the lineup. I think they'll be worse with him. I think he's a toxic player and a shitty teammate.
But they're even missing. They have Dinwiddie. Who's the other guy they're missing? Livingston, right? Not Livingston.
Kevin Durant.
No, no. The other guy, who the Nets already had. They had Spencer Dinwiddie, and who's the other guy? Are you kidding me? I'm not supposed to remember stuff. You're supposed to remember stuff in this show.
I don't watch the Nets. I don't know who you're talking about.
They're only good players.
They're missing another guy?
LeVert.
He's still missing?
I think so. Yeah. Is he healthy?
I don't know. I thought he was playing.
No, he's not playing. Do you follow basketball, Jay?
I do, but
this show's terrible. Okay, anyway.
LeVert's not on my fantasy team this year, so he's dead to me.
You shouldn't not have had on your fantasy team because LeVert's been injured. But they're missing LeVert, they're missing Kyrie, and obviously Durant. They're still winning games.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, LeVert's been out for well over a month. Yeah.
Yeah, they're such a goddamn. Why can't we have ownership? Can forget Usiri or Shiri, whatever. But can Dolan just give all the money to the guys that run the Nets and have them switch over to the Knicks?
It would also be nice if the Knicks gave ownership to somebody you could pronounce.
Yes, Sean Marks runs the Brooklyn Nets. Call Sean Marks and go. He could probably get him for less than you can get Masai. Ujiri?
Yeah.
Yeah. They can call him. Go, Sean Marks. You've been promoted to the major leagues. You're in the pros now. Come over to Manhattan. You're gonna run the Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets. Just say they're garbage. No, they don't even have real fans. Just move over to the Knicks. I will give just about anyone in the NBA all of James Dolan's money to run the team better. So what do you think of Miller time?
It's definitely an improvement.
The Knicks currently now have about 10% of the wins they had in the entire era under Fizdale in 5 games under Miller.
Yeah, so 2 wins.
2 wins.
They were really, really competitive against the Nuggets. They didn't score for the last 5.5 minutes of the game, and they still only lost by 6.
So far, they had a 1-point loss to the Pacers, in which if Randall could hit a free throw, the game would at least be tied.
Yeah.
So they barely lost to the Pacers. They kind of got their ass kicked by the Trailblazers.
Not kind of. They did. Yeah.
They did. Then they beat the Golden State Warriors. Knicks are finally better than Golden State Warriors. Then they beat Sacramento. Sacramento is actually a team that they were missing De'Aaron Fox, but Sacramento's been winning a bunch of games. They are they're a pretty decent team for the Knicks to beat.
Yeah.
And then they barely lost to the Nuggets. They're playing a lot better. Is it, my question to you, Jay, is it because they got rid of Fizdale? Or is it because they finally have a competent point guard in Elfrid Payton?
It's a couple things. It's definitely Elfrid Payton's making a huge difference.
Does watching Elfrid Payton make you realize we haven't had a point guard here in a while?
Yes, but you know what else I think is making a huge difference?
What else is making a huge difference?
Not playing Smith.
That does help. Addition by subtraction is very helpful.
Because, think about it, Smith is usually like around a plus minus of -7. So if he's playing, they don't beat the Warriors or the Kings, and they get blown out by the Nuggets.
Well, I mean, Dennis Smith has put in a lot of negative minutes. So you're right. You have to kind of almost weather when he's playing. Instead, you're basically instead of switching, giving his minutes to Elfrid Payton makes a huge difference.
Oddly enough, Elfrid Payton was a -14 against the Nuggets.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that happened. Because I was looking at that being like, he played pretty well.
Yeah, he had 11 assists, which I'm not going to go back and look. Is that the first double-digit assist game for the Knicks this season? It might be.
It might be. I mean, Frank Ntilikina does not know how to get assists. I understand. He does a lot of things well, but he's not really a point guard.
Actually, I did just look, and that is the high for the season.
Yeah. I mean, not that he's not I don't know. He's a good backup point. I would have liked to see at the end of the Nuggets game, I would have liked to see Ntilikina out there with Payton because I thought Barrett was playing that poorly. Ntilikina was hitting more shots than Barrett. I would have rather had Ntilikina out there at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Barrett was looking really bad all game. You could have easily done the double point guard thing, especially because Ntilikina is kind of not a point guard.
Yeah, Barrett went into a pretty deep slump, huh?
He's not looking as good as I'd hoped.
He had a good game against the Warriors, but other than that, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's been pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, he still does other things. Like, he'll get some rebounds, he'll get some assists. He plays solid defense. He's not one-dimensional like Knox was all last year. He just is not as good as we kind of hoped from the watching him earlier on.
But the weird thing is, like, against the Nuggets, he was 3 for 12, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Not good. But right. I'm less worried about him than I am about guys like Kevin Knox.
Yeah, because Knox is in year 2. He doesn't seem to do a lot on the court. Knox has been playing a little better defense lately. He's gotten some blocks. It seems like the problem with Knox on defense is knowing where to be. Like, if he's going to defend someone, he can't keep up with really fast players. But if you're going to be at his speed, so to speak, he can defend you. If he can get there, he can put his hands up. He kind of knows what he's doing. It's just that he doesn't know where to be on defense. He always, he kind of leaves his guy. He doesn't know where his guy is. He's a huge problem. His awareness on defense is horrid.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Barrett knows where to be on defense. He may not be Ntilikina level of defense, but he knows where to be. He's a solid defender. Even Elfrid Payton, he's not known for his defense, but he seems to know where to be on defense at least.
Yeah.
Ntilikina, he went through a rough stretch. Like, last night was his first good game in a while.
Yeah, he was averaging 2 points a game under Miller for the first 4 games, which is not good.
Ntilikina's got to be more consistent, I feel like. Not just with his shot, even with his defense. Sometimes he looks really good on defense, and then other times he kind of disappears for long stretches.
Or just his offense. Against the Nuggets, I forget who was covering him. He did a crossover. The guy fell on the floor, and then Ntilikina passed it to somebody else. It's like, no, you run around him and dunk it. Like, what are you doing?
His confidence, he does not have this killer instinct that he's got it at some point. This has to switch where he has to understand. I say the one thing about watching, so Elfrid Payton, you'd agree, he's not like a great point guard. He's just league average at best, right?
I'd say he's slightly above average.
Whoa. That's a big, do you remember at the beginning of the season, coming out of training camp, Knicks Twitter was like, we need to cut this guy. Why are we going to put Payton on the court? Everyone hated him so much.
Yeah, but he's not that bad.
No,
He
I
was
saw.
bad his first couple years. He's one of those examples, I guess, of guys that.
Play. Going to the
Thank you.
Oh, Payton with a beautiful spin and score. Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's a highlight of the game.
See, that's. I'm gonna pretend I meant to do that.
I wasn't. That was you. It wasn't me.
No, it. I hit mute and the site said
ESPN
no.
box scores just play automatically this commercial. It's so goddamn annoying.
Not only that, I hit mute and it didn't mute. So it's just like, nope, we're gonna play this whole clip for you.
Oh God. Anyway, I think Ntilikina needs to be more. He needs to be more consistent. He needs to have something. It has to switch on him where he's ready to like he has to go full on the whole game, and he doesn't do that. His motor's just. I don't know. What do you think? What's the issue with Ntilikina? Do you think? Like my thought was watching. Maybe he will learn. Peyton plays point guard more so like how you're supposed to play point guard, really attacking. He really leads the offense. Maybe like pairing it with just like him watching Peyton will be very helpful in growing basically. Like since Ntilikina has been here, has he played with another point guard? Has he got to observe another point guard on the Knicks?
No, I don't think so.
No one's really been like much of a point guard. Peyton seems like you may say a little better than league average. Let's just say he's league average. He still does the things that a point guard's supposed to do. And maybe the more Ntilikina sees that, the more he'll grow.
Yeah, I mean, Peyton's a bad shooter, but he's for his career, he's averaged 6.5 assists a game.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
I mean, he looks like he really tries to run the offense. He sets guys up for better shots. Ntilikina does not really do that.
Yeah.
And I always feel like also with Ntilikina, he kind of makes a decision up ahead of time whether he's going to shoot or pass. Like, I don't know if you watch that, you see that where like it seems like he's already decided what he's going to do.
That, and it also seems like something happens in the first couple minutes of the game, and that either gives him super confidence or he completely shuts down. And it seems like his mood swings like really affect his play.
Yeah.
Because it seems like at some point he's just like, I want nothing to do with offense at all.
I also find that on pick and roll, and I think he looks better in the pick and roll, but he's obsessed with the bounce pass, which is kind of, I understand there's benefits to the bounce pass, but like he does it all so often with big men, and a lot of the big men aren't great with when they have to bend down to get the ball.
Yeah, no, if you do a bounce pass to a big man, you have to get it to their waist. Anything below that, and you're risking a turnover.
Like, you don't want to do a bounce pass with Mitchell Robinson. It's not like you don't want him bringing up the ball. You want him to get the ball high in the air and just dunk the ball.
Yeah.
Not that. So Ntilikina had some nice stretches last night with he got a couple steals. He looks good at times. It's just a lot of guys in this team look good at times. They need to get better. Speaking of looks good at times, Marcus Morris lit it up in the third quarter. Looked great, and he has been our best player all season.
Mm-hmm.
So how fast should we get rid of him? So here's a question for you. This trade, I saw there's a rumor about this trade according from Woj. According to Woj, the Clippers remain interested in Marcus Morris and be willing to trade Mo Harkless, Patrick Patterson, and a first-round pick for him. So the Clippers' first-round pick will probably be 27th, 28th in the first round. Would you do this?
That's not a great haul, but that might be all you're going to get for him.
Let's assume, obviously they should shop this around, as opposed to, there's an article that came out pretty recently that said a lot of teams were surprised that they didn't get a chance to bid on Porzingis because the Knicks apparently did not shop him around.
Right. Dallas said, here's an offer, and they said, this is as good as it gets. We don't have to listen to anybody else. So that's Mills for you.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas, do you watch Shark Tank at all?
Yeah, I watched. I'm a little behind on this season, but I watched the first 10 seasons.
Okay, so you're like an avid fan. So Mark Cuban, who owns the Dallas Mavericks, he often has a style on the show where he'll make an offer and go like, I'm going to bid $300,000 for 12% of your company. And he's like, and they're like, okay, can I get other offers? And he's like, no, this is it. If you ask anyone else, my offer's off the table.
I hate when he does that.
That's what he did to the Knicks.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah,
you know he was like,
yeah, you're right.
Okay, Mills, if you're going to do that, we're going to have to take our trash offer off the table. And you did like the Bills like, oh my god, I mean, I can't talk to the other Sharks. Here you go, Cuban. You wouldn't screw me over.
I've never seen a trade where one team traded away the 3 best players in the trade.
It's unbelievable.
Because
Like, Timmy
I don't,
Hardaway is looking pretty good these days.
and I would argue that Courtney Lee is better than Smith Jr. too.
I mean, Timmy Hardaway is outplaying Porzingis lately. I don't know. Porzingis and Hardaway are starters for that team. The guy you were trying to get rid of, Timmy Hardaway. Porzingis is the clear Timmy Hardaway. It's unbelievable. Like there's been a bunch of trades lately, the last couple of years, like the Jimmy Butler trade or the who else has been a big name that's been traded? Like a lot of the trades, it seems like at first you think one team won the trade, and then later on you're like, oh, maybe that team didn't win the trade because the trades look out more even over time.
The Paul George trade.
Yeah, the Paul George trade. That's what I was thinking of. This trade will never look even for the Knicks. It will always look like they got just crushed.
Yeah, absolutely stomped.
They're going to get 2 picks. Their first round picks are going to be like the 23rd and 24th pick in the draft. And that's for Porzingis.
That's for Porzingis, Hardaway, and Lee.
Holy crap. They should. Timmy Hardaway alone. Yeah. Anyway, the fact that the Knicks just give away players that other teams are like, these are our starters, is insane.
Yeah.
I even remember that when Cleveland, the Knicks were like, here's J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert, which will give you Shumpert to take J.R. Smith. And Cleveland's like, great, we have 2 starters.
Right. Thank you, championship.
Nothing for him. They literally, all the players they got from Cleveland, the Knicks immediately cut. And then the best one they ended up having was, what's his name, who we couldn't get rid of for 5 years. I say what's his name way too much. Who was our captain for a long time?
Lance Thomas.
Yeah, Lance Thomas. I think he was the only guy from that trade that they kept.
So this is what worries me. As of yesterday, December 15th, everybody in the NBA can now trade their signees for the summer.
Yeah.
So everybody the Knicks just added, all 7 guys,
they're all, you can trade all of them now. Yes.
But the Knicks did not fire Mills, who did the trade that we're complaining about.
Yeah, so Mills, who's a horrendous GM or team president, is now going to be in charge of trying to save his job.
That's what I'm worried, that he does a panic trade to try and save his job, and he has a history of just making horrible, horrible trades.
Jay, if your company came to you and go, Jay, you're on thin ice. You have the next 6 months to make things better or you're gone. Would you think of your company's long-term interest?
Absolutely not.
Or would you do anything you can now, no matter how it screws up the books later on, just to keep your job?
Yeah, look at my numbers the last 6 months. They've been awesome.
Yeah. Jay, it looks like you've just been robbing a bank and leaving the money on your desk. Yeah. So what?
Yeah, they won't find out about that for 3 years. I'll be gone by then.
Yeah, so that doesn't sound good. So going back to it, I've heard a debate around Marcus. Because of the guys they can trade, Marcus Morris is by far the most valuable, right?
Correct, yes.
He's shooting outstanding from 3. He's putting up, like 17 points a game. He's playing really well. He seems like a guy that, he's 30, and obviously you don't necessarily think a 30-year-old is a guy to build around, but he looks like anyone's going to get him is going to get a player that is playing near all-star level, right?
Near all-star level, probably.
But a 1-year rental.
1-year rental. I mean, if you think you could talk him into staying, you probably have 1 to 2 more years of this level of play in him.
Yeah.
So you could possibly get like 3 years of this, 2.5 years of this.
Outside of the Spurs, every other team that's in the playoff hunt should be interested.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to think of who would be a great fit. Like the Houston Rockets would love his 3-point shooting. The Clippers, obviously, they've already said they expressed their interest. There should be at least 7 or 8 teams that are interested in him.
Yeah, I mean, the Mavs, the Nuggets, anybody who's like really good but maybe needs one more piece.
So let's do it like I've noticed online, people are debating this. Why don't we debate this, Jay? Do you want to take the side of we should trade Morris, or do you want to take the side of we shouldn't trade him?
I'll take the side of we should trade him.
Okay. Well, Jay, he's our best player. How could you trade away our best player?
because the Knicks are 6-21, so it really doesn't matter that he's good at all.
But where would they be without him? Could you imagine their record without him?
They're second worst in the league in a 4-way tie, which means the Knicks can now get the 8th worst pick. Maybe without him, the Knicks can get the best pick.
Don't you think the team needs veteran leadership?
They got Bobby Portis. Come on.
Listen, Jay. You have veteran leadership. We can't just go with the young guys. We already have enough young talent. We need the veterans to help them develop.
That is a false narrative. The Knicks still need another good draft pick. They need to really, really, really win a draft, which they have not yet.
They have so little young talent. That last argument baffles. I don't even want to make a bit about this anymore. I'm
You
just
couldn't
so
even defend
annoyed.
your side.
How people are like, the Knicks have so much young talent. They have so much young talent. No, they don't. They have almost no young talent.
The thing
Who do
I don't
we have?
get is how come these guys come into the league tearing it up, but everyone on the Knicks needs 5 years?
Oh my God! Everyone's like, and yeah, every other player is so good right away, or just like a year into it. The Knicks are like, well, I mean, you got to give him a decade.
I know.
He's only 20 years old, but he sucks.
Right.
Like, are we not allowed that we cannot judge any player before he's 25 years old because he has potential? Every other team goes like, this guy's a bust. Let's move on. Philly moved on from freaking Markel Fultz 6 months into his career. That might have been a mistake, but at least like they're willing to say some guys may not be as good as we hoped.
What about Michael Carter-Williams? He won Rookie of the Year, and they said, no, he's not that good, and we dumped him. Hasn't done anything since.
Oh, my God. So, like, young talent. Barrett, I like him. I think he's going to be a good player. I'm not saying the Knicks should move on from him, but he's not exactly an all-star. We're hoping he'll be a good starter. Knox potentially is a bust. He shows flashes at times. Clearly, the Knicks could have drafted a better. We'd all would love to go back and draft a different player. Ntilikina has been okay at times. There's still major question marks. He's not getting that much better. Dotson, Mitchell Robinson's great. He's actually been staying on the court lately, but he's probably one of the best. He's one of the best other young. We don't have enough young talent. We need more of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Barrett's. All the young guys range from okay to all right.
You know what's enough young talent? Philly. They have Embiid and Ben Simmons. That's enough young talent.
And Thibault's making a pretty good push.
Just the whole point is that you have to have really good young players. You have to have close to all-star, if not all-star level players. Right now, all of our young players are fringe starters at best.
Every other team, even the terrible teams, seem to have at least one or two guys. I mean, the Hawks have Trae Young, and the Pelicans have a whole bunch of. I mean, Brandon Ingram is like tearing it up.
Who the Pelicans? The Pelicans have anyone else that maybe like who's never going to get on the court, but one day could be really the answer, like Zion.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he ever going to play again?
I don't know, but I mean, they have Lonzo Ball, and
Lonzo Ball hasn't been that great, but yeah.
You know what I mean, though. Like every team has a young guy that seems to be way better than anybody on the Knicks.
The Knicks are really not great at. So Mills should go because he's not good at evaluating talent. The draft under him has been pretty mediocre, and his ability to find talent elsewhere through trades, free agency, has not been very good.
Well, here's the deal: he makes really bad free agency deals. That Hardaway contract was ridiculous. He makes even worse trades, and he's not that good at the draft. So he's really good at literally nothing basketball wise.
I don't know. Is the only thing he's good at is what he's good at is like hiding. Like is he like Michael Cohen to Donald Trump? Like is he like hiding all the naked pictures and paying off the porn stars for Dolan?
I think he's really good at kissing Dolan's ass, and I think Dolan's the kind of guy where if you work for him and you make him feel good, you get to keep your job.
I just want to don't forget to mention, under Miller so far, Mitchell Robinson has been staying on the court. He has not really had foul issues.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that change? I feel like the big change for Mitchell Robinson is he's not always going for blocks, because a lot of times he goes for blocks, he ends up getting fouls, and now he's staying on the court and he can contribute a little more.
Yeah.
He's been a lot better lately.
Yeah. He's
His offensive rebounding. He's been. If the Knicks could feed in the ball a little more, it'd be even better. But like he's been playing well.
Yeah, he only had 2 against the Kings, 4 against the Nuggets, which is still 4 is fine. 3 against the Warriors in 30 minutes.
He had a rough stretch against the Nuggets though, where like he wasn't even doing a good job of guarding the rim, and like,
Right.
he's got to sometimes block shots. I don't want him to stop. Just he has to like pick his places a little.
So it's
better.
been 3 games since he fouled out.
That's pretty good
For him. That's like really good.
So a question for you, Jay. Masai
Ujiri.
Masai, the Messiah. Should the Knicks get the Messiah? According to a source, that the Knicks, this is from SNY Knicks blog. They basically other teams, based on what other teams have gotten, had to give up for their GMs because Masai is under contract still with Toronto. It would probably involve giving up 2 first-round draft picks. Would you do that to get the Messiah?
No.
No.
Well,
Well-
I know the Knicks' history. It's going to be the next LeBron and the next Durant are going to be those 2 picks. I just know it. No. If it was any other franchise, I'd say maybe. But the way the Knicks' luck goes, every time the Knicks give away a pick, it's a LaMarcus Aldridge or Noah. It's always a really good pick. And so, no.
Well, can I tell you, I figured out how things are going to go when the Knicks do sign him.
Sure.
Okay, so first off, Dolan will give him a $100 million contract with the Masai over 5 years or whatever, or 10 years, whatever it's going to be. It's going to be like a $100 million contract.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how it's going to go. First, everyone will be like, oh, so you're going to fire Mills? No. Mills will be reassigned to a different role in the organization where his unofficial title will be guy who actively undermines Masai at every turn. Toronto will then say, it's totally fine with getting Masai, but in return, the Knicks are forced to give up this year's number 1 pick, who turns out to be a Hall of Famer. Masai gets a $100 million contract from Dolan and quickly realizes if he phones in the job like Phil did, he'll have for the last 3 years of the contract off. So he'll have incentive. He has an incentive not to do his job.
Yeah.
Masai eventually will be fired. He'll join another team and build a winner that goes to the title that wins the title. In the press conference where where he's hired for the new team, the team owner will joke, "Yeah, Masai's time with the Knicks was a disaster, but who wouldn't be a disaster with them?" All the press will laugh while Knicks fans get themselves excited for the impending free agency of the player that Toronto drafted with the pick they were forced to give up for Masai. Forbes then will announce Knicks are the first sports franchise to be worth $10 billion. Fans decked in Knicks gear from head to toe announced their displeasure with how this team can be worth so much and offer such a garbage product while in line to buy the worst tickets in the Garden has for $100 a piece.
Sounds very accurate.
That's how it'll play out.
Yeah. I can't argue with any of that.
I don't know how you could, but that's pretty much. So, if you want to have some, as far as other people out there that the Knicks could hire, what do you think about R.C. Buford?
Buford was Spurs, right?
Yes. Again, just give him a truck. Everyone gets a truckload of money, by the way. That's how we talk anyone to this job.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think in some ways this job is perfect because if you suck at it, it was supposed to be a disaster anyway. So your reputation's not really ruined. It's just it was supposed to be a disaster no matter what, right?
Yeah, you'll just get ranked against all the other people who did a terrible job.
And you get like the last 3 years off with all the money, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I mean, odds are you're not going to be worse than Isaiah or Mills. So there's a low bar.
Yeah. And also, if it works out, you're a goddamn. No other city will celebrate you more than New York.
Yeah.
Until like you screw up the next season and they hate you again.
Make one mistake and that's it.
And really, it's like you're at the absolute bottom. There's nowhere you could always like at just some point the Knicks have to get better.
You'd think.
I mean, right now we're the worst team. If you make us the 5th worst team, well, you're doing your job.
Right.
Okay, so Buford. Donnie Nelson.
Isn't he more of a coach?
Whatever. He's scouting, player development. He's at will. He's
Yeah,
at will.
I don't want to
William
get
Dallas.
another coach as a team president.
Well, yeah. Did it not work out with Phil? Sam Presti.
Presti's a tough one.
He's pretty good at training away a 3 future Hall of Famers.
Now, here's the thing with Presti.
Yeah.
Was he told
Probably
to save money?
Yeah, I'm going to say for the sake of the fact that Knicks might hire him, then yes. Probably was. The owner sucks.
I mean, nailed the draft year after year after year.
Nailed the draft.
I mean, what, 4
Even
years?
Ibaka. Like, it was a late first round or second round pick. He's good at drafting.
Yeah.
We need a guy that's good at drafting.
Because that's what you need to do. And I mean, other than Durant, none of those guys was a given.
Westbrook was pretty high, but yeah.
Westbrook was pretty high, but it wasn't like everyone said
No.
Durant's going to be amazing.
And he got a coach there. They develop play. They had a good system going.
Yeah.
Kevin Pritchard.
Kevin Pritchard. Where is he from?
Pritchard is, where is he? He is, I know he did the Paul George trade according to this article, and he's with Indiana.
Yeah.
He was also,
yeah.
Solid job with that trade. He saw the fact that Oladipo was going to be really good.
And Sabonis has been awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you can argue that since Oklahoma City didn't win anything and lost George, that the Indiana won that trade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone was trashing that trade at the beginning, but I would argue that they won that.
Absolutely. I mean, they just need to get someone who has a really good track record, or someone like a Sean Marks in Brooklyn, where he's an assistant in a great organization where hopefully he's learned enough to take over.
Yeah.
But you really the Knicks need to be better at drafting. That's the number one thing.
Yeah, I don't get this whole narrative that the Knicks have enough young talent. They don't.
That's the most insane thing because people were talking about that. They were at some point the same people were like, we have enough talent. We have Ron Baker.
Right.
People it's just whoever's young who does something okay. The Knicks fans we have this thing where if you're on our team, we will, and you're young, we love you. But if we sign you from elsewhere, we goddamn hate everything you do.
I mean, I get it. The Knicks are thirsty for a homegrown talent that they've drafted. It's a lot more fun to root for a guy you drafted than it is a guy you just paid a lot of money to. I get all that. But let's not overrate every single guy the Knicks draft.
I do think it's also the Randall hate has gone too far the other direction. I don't think Randall's been bad. He's looking a little better under Mills.
He's looking much better under Mills. Much.
Miller.
Yeah. Miller.
I was like,
well, it is under Mills, but under Miller, yes.
Yeah, under Miller. They're using him a little better. I don't like him dribbling so much. It also helps that he has a real point guard to deal with. He's a force on offense. He's not amazing, but he's not bad.
Yeah.
He's not good, but I don't think Randall's people are like, let's give Randall away for nothing. He's 24 and he's not bad. He's been a pretty decent player. If he was drafted by the Knicks, fans would be absolutely in love with him.
He's good.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I know people don't like him. I think he's good.
I mean, he does have a really good offensive game. Defense, he needs to get better at, but a lot of guys in this team need to get better on defense.
He needs to get better on defense. He's not like Amari bad.
No, he is not Amari bad. He's not Kevin Knox bad.
Right.
Kevin Knox is really bad on defense.
Really bad.
You know what? By the way, why is this team so bad? I was just thinking of things that really drive me crazy.
Yeah.
And why are they such a bad defensive rebounding team? They were actually really good. They're really one of the top teams in offensive rebounding, partly because they missed so many shots.
Yeah.
But defensive, time and again, the other team gets second chances against them.
Got to box out. I don't see enough boxing out, to tell you the truth.
They don't box out.
No.
They don't. Yeah. And the guards don't necessarily rebound. Even Barrett's actually a good rebounder. I don't get what's going on because they don't do good on long rebounds. And there's always a guy that's slipping in there, getting the rebound, and like scoring. And
Randall's a beast. Somebody's just got to tell him, like, you're strong. You can close out whoever you're covering. Just don't let him get a rebound.
A lot of these close games, they're losing because they are not defensive rebounding. There's so many plays where they've had to stop on defense, and then they don't get the rebound, and the other team just goes, "Oh, great, we have a second chance."
Yeah.
It's been brutal. I also like I've noticed there's been less switching, and there's no longer we're not playing the zone. And we know that we're not doing amazing against 3-point shooting, but at least we're trying to guard the 3-point line again.
Yeah, it seems like just minor tweaks that we've been talking about all season. Miller's doing. He's like common sense stuff.
I mean, Miller's been coaching for 30 freaking years, whether it be assistant or an actual coach or the head coach. He just I don't think there's a good fit in having a coach learn on the job with a team that doesn't know what they're doing.
I don't even think Fizdale is supposed to be learning on the job. Maybe he just wasn't good at noticing the little things. He just might not be a good coach. I don't know.
I'm sure. I don't want to say like he would. I think if he was suddenly the coach of the Lakers, maybe he would do a good job because he has really good players.
I think I could do a good job coaching the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe if players already know what they're doing, he can motivate them. I don't know. It's just he wasn't. You need a team. Like if you're not going to have experience on the roster, the coach needs to have enough experience to bring your team along.
Yeah, he just.
I also I find it so annoying that so many people are like he's a scapegoat or like man, it's unfair they got rid of him. If you were paying attention, he wasn't doing a good job.
The team is clearly better. There's a noticeable difference in just 5 games.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is Peyton, but I don't know even like. I mean, I guess who the hell knows?
It is hard to tell that now that the Knicks have a good point guard, but it does seem like a lot of players are doing slightly different things that are just improving their game.
I saw a thing though that if Miller doesn't do a good job, they were already talking about they might like replace him mid-season with another coach if he does bad. Like that would be insane to fire your interim coach.
I think the Knicks should just go for the record for most coaches in one season.
Every 10, you know how they're saying they were evaluating things every 10 games? Every 10 games, a different coach gets a shot.
Yeah, you know how like when Letterman would go on vacation, they would have a guest host every day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were like, well, who should be the coach? Should they bring back Van Gundy? Some people are like Marc Jackson. The best thing is give him each a 10-game stretch to try out the job and see how it goes.
Yeah. Make it 5.
Yeah. Everyone gets a quarter tonight and see how it goes. It'll be like a game show.
Right.
Jay, I want to have a debate with you.
Okay.
You got the article I sent you earlier?
I read it, yeah. I don't have it open. Do I need it open? Yeah,
it'd be helpful, asshole.
You could have just said yes, but okay.
So there's a new person on Twitter, and there are a lot of people on Twitter. So, but this one is more interesting than most. Do you have it open?
I'm opening it right now.
His the account name is Jonathan Daly. His initials are somewhat similar to James Dolan. His account was created fairly recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that I don't know if you can tell. See if you can figure out anything weird about this account.
Okay.
Maybe we're not even. I don't know. So here's one of the first tweets from the account. James Dolan does not have much to work with. You should be thankful he's even this successful with incompetent help. Let's read some more.
Okay.
How is James Dolan the problem? James Dolan actually knows basketball. Jerry Jones knows nothing about football. Knicks fans should be thankful for an owner like James Dolan. That's completely false. James Dolan has had to overcome a lot in life and is a solid owner. I'm a Knicks fan. I am thankful for James Dolan. James Dolan is doing what he can with the doofuses around him in the front office, holding the team down. Dolan is not the problem. I, as a Knicks fan, am a fan of James Dolan. Get him some competent front office help, and he will bring a championship to New York. Again, this is a totally random New York Knicks fan. These are a lot of these from December 11th, by the way. Another delusional hire by GM Mills. Maybe let James Dolan start making the hires. He seems to know a thing about making money and winning games.
Okay.
If it was up to James Dolan, Donovan Mitchell would be a New York Knick, and Ntilikina would be on the streets of France. GM Mills butchered the pick. James Dolan had zero culpability in the Knicks' disappointing season. Blame the idiots in the front office with him. How? Dolan is perfectly competent, but surrounded by idiots.
Okay, I get it. Here's the thing. This
account came out last Wednesday.
Yeah, it sounds like James Dolan himself. But
I don't know why you say that. The name is not, it's Jonathan Daly. The initials are similar, but that's it, Jay.
Does he have a band, Jonathan Daly and the Straight Shot?
Yes.
So the thing is, if this is Dolan, why is he making a Twitter account to call Mills an idiot instead of just firing Mills? If only there was some way the situation could be resolved.
The account says, join December 2019.
Right, but why would...
All the account does is argue with Knicks fans about how great James Dolan is. How did Jonathan Daly think this was really that anonymous? Like, no one would notice this.
I think this is one of the greater troll jobs. I think a lot of thought was put into this, and he did that.
Yeah.
Because if James Dolan is doing this and doesn't realize he can fire Mills, then I don't know what to say.
Maybe he can. I don't know. So either, one of two things. Either this is James Dolan and holy crap, this is amazing, or some fan is just amazing. Because this is, afterwards I was like, this is like the funniest thing ever. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. You just you pretend to be someone's burner account.
Right. Yeah, that's like such a good stealth troll.
I mean, we should just be doing this. We should pick up like a different Nick every week and be their burner account.
That is awesome.
Just go on there and just spend the entire time, like, go under there as David Not Smith, and go and just argue all day, David Not Smith Jr., and argue all day about how Dennis Smith is not getting a fair break. He's the best point guard in the team.
Right.
Just go crazy arguing with fans. And it's the best. It's like, of course, when it comes out, when they fire their coach, and suddenly this Twitter account exists.
It's such a good idea. I'm kind of jealous we didn't do this for the show.
I mean, we did. There's like the Wikipedia page where we were editing his, like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, you want to go to questions?
Yeah, let's go to listener questions. Sorry, I'm just writing down the time codes for the show notes.
Stop doing work.
Yeah, the episode just magically appears. I don't know why I'm doing anything. It's
magic. The show ends. I go, Jay, another fun episode. I wonder how it'll get online. Talk to you later.
Good night. P.S. Why is the show not up yet?
Yes. Jay, it's been 3 minutes. Where's the show?
Jonathan writes, hey guys, Ntilikina stats. 6 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 38% field goals. Dodson stats. 6 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 40% field goals. Can we please stop saying these two are good players? Why do we keep saying that Dodson's a good shooter when he's shooting almost 40%? I think it's time to give Trier another chance. I know he doesn't play defense, but we need shooters. Thoughts?
You know what the funny thing is? As you're reading the Ntilikina, as you're reading that, I was like, Knicks fans are so crazy. I don't know if he was arguing that 6 points a game and 3 assists is good or bad.
Right.
Like, you don't know if a Knicks fan's like, yes, so he's like as good as Jordan right now.
I mean, with the minutes he's been getting, that's like 72 points per 83 minutes.
Can we stop the whole thing of like Ntilikina hasn't been given a chance in New York yet? Like, he's been held back to be like they haven't got a lot of playing time. He played a full season his first season, half a season last year. He's gotten to play most of every game so far. He's getting a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that now.
I'd like him to be better. Like, again, there are glimpses. The question is, if you took a bunch of guys that have been busts in the last like couple drafts, and you watch them, wouldn't they look good at times?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I mean, there's two-way G League players that are just filling in for an injured guy, and they have good games, and everyone's not like, hey, we should make him the cornerstone of the franchise.
Like, would we if we drafted Emmanuel Mudiay? Would we be talking about how Emmanuel Mudiay, those like 2 games he looks good, and we're like, he's really has potential. Like, we're so quick to bail on other young players we get, but like the guys we draft, like, he's 20. I mean, you can't write him off yet. He's 20. Like, no, he probably just learned how to walk yesterday.
It's not like he's been playing international basketball for years.
I mean, look at Doncic. I mean, he's that age and he sucks, right? Doncic's probably a year younger than Ntilikina. Looks like the league MVP. And Ntilikina, we're like, he made us 3-point shot tonight. Okay, he can go home. He did everything. Look at me. He hit a basketball shot.
That's Wally during the games. Every game. That's what. It's amazing. He completed a pass. This is what we need from him.
I just like the Ntilikina. And Dotson. I think Dotson looks good at times. I don't even know. It's so. I feel like Dotson could go to a team like Houston and actually look pretty good because his 3-point shooting is not. But that's it. The facts are there. He's not shooting that well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. I don't know. All right. So nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is the email. We're nyknickspodcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon.
Oh, can I? Because I don't want to forget this. Jay.
You always cut me off in the middle of the plugging of stuff.
Oh, gives a crap, Jay. When will Kevin Love be a Knick?
I'm surprised he wasn't at 12:01 on Sunday morning.
Cleveland has said they are up for trading him. The craziest talk I've heard around this is what will Cleveland get for him, as if they're going to get things for him. He is a salary dump.
Well, no, people are asking what are they going to get for him from the Knicks.
Exactly. Because people are acting like, oh, Kevin Love's insane contract with insane injury history. Teams are going to be like, let's see, we give you 2 first-round picks, and like, you're not getting anything for him. Any team that trades assets for him is insane. It's totally fine if Cleveland's like, we'll throw in a first-round pick to get rid of his contract. Then the Knicks could raise their hand and go, sure.
Yeah.
Do you think the Knicks should value their what's the most valuable asset on the Knicks right now? Is it Marcus Morris or is it cap space?
It is cap space. No. Marcus Morris.
You don't think cap space is more valuable?
For the Knicks?
No, I mean trading it away. Like giving away your I think if you gave away your cap space, you could get more back than you can get from Marcus Morris.
Oh,
yeah. You know what I'm saying? They should be the dumping ground for other teams' bad contracts.
Like
what the Nets did.
Yeah.
I think the cap is completely worthless to the Knicks for the next 4 seasons.
I don't know about the next 4, but the next 2, I would say, yeah.
Probably the next 40, Jay. Who's signing here?
That's the thing. You need to have a decent season before somebody does. Do you think if the Nets had a 17-win season, that Irving and Durant would be there right now?
No, the Knicks need to be a playoff team before anyone's going to sign here, and the Knicks have a ways to go to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, if you switch the Knicks and Nets records last season, the Knicks have Irving and Durant right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You look like a functional organization. Kevin Durant said that, basically. He didn't say the Knicks, but he just said that the Nets look like a functional organization.
Yeah.
Okay, go back to your plugs, whatever you were doing, Jay.
Patreon.com is a way to support the show, and the New York Knicks podcast.com is our website. You can get Knicks podcast shirts, and actually, Austin wrote a really good article for the website that we posted on Sunday. So it's about the post-Fizz offense, so you can check that out. It's a good read. And if you want to guest post for the show, you can email us, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. And Facebook questions? Do you have?
Yeah, so we got 2 voice messages on Facebook.
2 voice messages?
In our inbox. You want to go pull that up while I read the questions?
Sure.
From Anthony. I was just looking at. We didn't get many Facebook questions. Julian writes, looks like Miller could be a benefit for Frank and Peyton, like them 2 sharing minutes at point guard. They increasingly their confidence look good to see. He did that. Miller did a little bit of Frank and Peyton together. I'd be interested to see more of that. I'd like to submit an idea of Love to see what lineup for a few games, assuming Mitchell Robinson and Peyton are better from the bench. So you put them on the bench. What do you think of Frank, Dotson, RJ, Marcus Morris, and Taj. Thoughts?
Frank, Dodson, RJ, Morris, Taj.
I wouldn't. So, and basically, your lineup on the bench is going to be Peyton with Mitchell Robinson and with
Julius Randle.
Julius Randle. Yeah. So I think that I want to see Morris and Randle separated more.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I also want to see more RJ at the 3, so I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of convinced RJ should not be. RJ should be. RJ's more of a 3 than anything else.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe 2, but I think he's more of a 3. So I'd like to see him play the 3 more often.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely don't think he should be the 1.
So the bench lineup would probably be: you'd have Peyton, you'd have you have Knox, you'd have Randall, you'd have Mitchell Robinson, and I forget who'd your backup 2 be then.
Ellington or Bullock when he comes back.
Bullock's never coming back, Jay.
Wayne Ellington.
Yeah, either way, that looks like the team would looks a little more interesting. I like that, actually. I like the spacing on this. I don't know.
I don't know how many minutes you want to give Taj starting.
Why? Why not? Taj is already starting.
Yeah, he's playing like 16 minutes a game.
Yeah, I'm saying that's fine. He'll continue playing 16 minutes a game. Give the rest of the minutes to Mitchell.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, I think this is an interesting idea, Julian.
So
Jay,
you're saying no Portis.
I don't want Portis on the roster, Jay. Have I not made that clear? Why do you like Portis?
I don't.
You like staring at his eyes?
I just like seeing you get riled up when I mention him.
I mean, he does good. Again, Portis, Chicago was like probably saw him. He played decent at times, and they were like, okay, we're ready to move on.
Yeah.
He's not a consistent player.
If the Knicks drafted him, we'd be like, he needs just 16 more years to get his feet wet.
It's not fair to judge him before the year 3000. How long does a player have to be in the league before we're allowed to judge him?
It depends. Did we draft him or not?
If we draft him.
If we draft him 5 years, if we didn't draft him, 13 minutes.
That sounds about right. Julian also writes, good to see a coach smile, be genuinely showing humility. Really like what I've seen the last couple of games, especially versus Denver. The only thing that bugs me, I'm going to be very unpopular, but Randall frustrates the shit out of me. The guy can't pass the ball when in the opposite paint and got 2 or 3 guys on him, plus the stats give him a lot of favors. I would trade him and Knox while they still got value. Too much power forward in the team. Needed a 2 and a big unit at center. Jokic and Plumlee destroy us in the first half. Thoughts? They did destroy us in the first half. There's no question about that. Plumlee looked like a goddamn all-star against the Knicks.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Well, first of all, what do you think about? Do you think Randall has value? Could you trade him?
Yeah, absolutely.
On his contract.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think he'd be that easy to move. Who's going to trade for him? Like, it has to be a playoff team, probably, right? Or do you think like a team like Atlanta would go for him? Like a team with a good point guard who's trying to get better. I don't know how easy of a contract he'd be moved. $20 million a year is not the easiest thing to move.
It's not. I don't think it's absolutely terrible though. Because it's short term and.
Who has more value, Knox or Morris, and who do you think they should trade? If they are going to keep one and trade the other.
I think Morris. Morris has more value.
And Morris is a 1 year. He's gone after this season.
Yeah.
Someone made a good point also on I read online where they said like if the Knicks would you trade a late first round pick to get a guy on an expiring deal? Would that be insane?
Sorry, who's giving the first round?
If the Knicks had the 20th pick in the draft and they traded it for a guy who's an expiring contract, would that be insane? Reverse the opposite of the Morris trade. If the Knicks are trading Morris for the 20th pick in the draft, would you do the opposite trade?
No.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because people are like, because we have Morris, we can't trade him for that. The 20th pick is not worth it. But if you had the 20th pick, you would never trade him for an expiring contract.
Right.
Okay.
But I don't. I think other teams aren't as desperate for draft picks.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, hopefully you can get more than the 20th pick. But if you get a first round pick, take the first round pick.
Like if you're the Lakers, do you care about the 20th pick right now, or would you rather Morris?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Whereas it's the opposite for the Knicks, so it's definitely situational.
I have a question for you: Is Frank Ntilikina is he going to be that much? Is he going to be a lot better of a player than Iman Shumpert?
I don't know. We need to give him 17 more years.
I
It's
wonder.
too
When
soon.
Shumpert had a good stretch of the Nets, he's
Mhm.
been let go by the Nets. I don't know if he's been picked up yet, and I'm not saying the Knicks should pick him up, but I'm wondering. I bet a good team will pick him up. I'm wondering if Ntilikina's is he going to be that much better of a player than Iman Shumpert? We had Shumpert here, who was a very similar player. He was a very good defensive player, who's not a great shooter. Sometimes he'd look okay on offense, but really wasn't looking great on offense. And people even said he was a point guard at times, even though he was not a point guard. But the Knicks eventually gave up on him.
Yeah, after what, 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, you can't stay here for more than 4 years
No.
if you're a rookie.
You cannot keep a rookie on a rookie deal because what kind of value is that?
Did you find the audio?
I did, yeah.
Play it.
All right.
Hey guys, this might sound crazy, but I was thinking the Knicks should just trade damn near everybody that they can get a draft pick for.
I like it so far.
Sounds great to me.
Wow, because it's not like we don't win any games with what we got. It's really not. So we could trade Julius Randle. What do you think we can get for him? We could trade Bobby Portis. What do you think we can get for him? We could trade Taj Gibson. What do you think we can get for him? I'm going down the roster now. We can contemplate trading Reggie Bullock. What do you think we can get for him? Wayne.
There's a part 2 to this.
I love this.
I love this too.
Does he want to be the
part
Knicks
2.
team president?
I think I was up to Wayne Ellington. Let's get rid of that ass too. I don't mean to be mean. But I'm just, these guys ain't doing us any good. We can free up a ton of cap space, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we can get some young players with some heart, and maybe we can find that diamond in the rough. You notice I didn't put Marcus Morris on that list because we shouldn't trade him unless he wants to be traded, and we shouldn't trade him unless we could really meet his trade wishes. Because he out of everybody, he's been manning up, so he should be rewarded for that, and that would help our image also.
It's not a bad
But
point.
anyway, like I said, you guys let me know what you think.
The Morris thing. I imagine if the Knicks are going to trade him, it's going to be to a playoff team, and so I imagine Morris will be happy to go to a playoff team. But I appreciate what he's saying there. I imagine if we're like, you can go live in LA and play for the Clippers and probably have a shot at a title, he'll be down for that.
Yeah, so thank you, Anthony. That was good voicemail. So,
and is he wrong? You really should be in asset collection mode. Trade everyone, get draft picks, and that way you can you're not going to nail every draft pick. Maybe you can find some real diamonds in the draft.
So what I'm thinking for a bunch of those players he mentioned, you would probably get a second rounder and another player to match salary that is probably not that good, but whatever.
The problem is that a lot of the players you're going to have to take back because the way that it works with the salary cap, you're going to have to take back salary for every trade you make, probably taking back a longer contract.
Well, if you just do the same contract, but unwanted player for unwanted player, but maybe you get a second rounder. You do that a couple times. You have 2-3 second rounders. Maybe then you can do 2 or 3 second rounders for a late first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's not a bad point. It's also like there are plenty of players that get drafted in the second round that end up actually being pretty good. Look at this
There
guy.
are, but
Look at the dude on the Heat who's lighting stuff up, and he wasn't even goddamn drafted.
yeah, no, I get that, but I think you think 2 or 3 moves down the road. You know,
Yeah, I agree.
get 3 seconds, swap that for a late first. Then you got a first, and maybe some of the other guys you traded for, you move up in the draft a little bit.
There's argument you can't you can only fit so many draft picks on the roster, but you're right. You can package these assets to get in a higher pick.
Get 17 draft picks. Everybody wants draft picks. It's not like, oh, you can only have so many draft picks. Yeah, but collect all of them. People
It's
are always
also,
going to want
if
to
we
trade
draft-
you for it.
If we had like 10 draft picks for this year, it would be insane. But chances are you might draft some players who are better than who we have now. There are always guys in the draft who are good that people miss out on. We need better players. We actually need young talent. So best way to get young talent is to have more draft picks.
Yeah.
So Anthony, you have my vote to be team president. And if our Patreon meets what we're asking for, $500 million a month, and we can buy the New York Knicks, we will make Anthony the team president.
There you go.
Okay. Any other questions, Jay?
No, that's it. So, yeah. So it looks like at exactly 1 minute, the Facebook voicemail cuts off. So, if anybody else wants to send us a message, just keep that in mind.
I love how we can play it and we can talk over it. Not that we meant to talk over Anthony, but like it's just like we also didn't listen to it ahead of time, obviously. But
I like
it was
to
awesome.
not listen to it ahead of time, just to.
It makes the reaction better.
Yeah, I like to get the initial reaction for the voicemails.
I love that. Actually, Anthony, if you could just send us a voicemail every week, I kind of love your voicemail.
Yeah,
But anyway, the more, please do it. We love I love reading people's questions, but even better, if you send your voicemail, then you're really like your voice message, then we can actually hear you on the show, which is even better.
Yeah, you could send us a voicemail.
You could send a voice message via email. You could send it via Facebook. Apparently, there's many ways to send your voice to us.
Yes.
And Jay promises he will not use your voice in any way at night in a non-kosher way.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Yeah, had to always.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back probably next week.
Yes.
And
do you think we'll have 2 wins to celebrate next week, Jay? We got the Hawks coming up.
It's possible. It's possible of a win or 2, and it's possible we might have a different roster. Who knows?
Who knows? I think the more the trades will happen closer to the trade deadline because the Knicks aren't bright enough to make a trade when the guy's playing well. But we got just the next show. We have 3 games. They're going to play the Hawks, the Heat, and the Bucks. So 1 win, Jay?
Yeah, I think 1 is.
So I would take this as where my goal. Like we should beat the Hawks. The Heat should be a very close game. Probably lose at the end. And the Bucks, let's not goddamn embarrass ourselves.
Yeah, that'll be one of those. Maybe line up something else to do that night.
It's Saturday night. It's almost Christmas.
Yeah,
gotta find stuff to do.
Spend some time with your family.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Goodbye. Gonna play.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.